Have you ever felt like you wanted to make changes in the church and yet the entire church or a large portion of the church was resistant to that change? Well, if so, you're in a good place today, because in this episode, we're going to talk about 6 ways you can turn a change-resistant church to where people all of a sudden are buying in and on board with the vision that God has given you. Here we go.
You know, there's a story told of a young pastor who came to a church and there was a old piano sitting in the middle of the platform. And so he's trying to figure out how in the world we're going to get rid of this old piano. And a wise older pastor said, if you're going to move something like that, you need to do it 1 inch at a time per week. Now that means it's going to take you a long time to get this piano moved. But that's exactly what that young pastor did, and people didn't even know what was happening because he was using such wisdom rather than just yanking it off and ticking off a bunch of people who love the piano there. Okay. He just did it one step at a time. There is really an art and a science behind the business of helping turn a change-resistant church. And that young pastor was smart enough to follow the advice that was given to him ahead of time. So, well, we're going to talk today about what you actually do to turn a change-resistant church. How in the world does this exactly happen?
Yep. So, I say let's just jump in with some thoughts on how to do it.
So I'm supposed to start?
Why not?
Okay.
Let's just have you do it all.
First of all, you need to identify why change resistance happens. In fact, I'd encourage you, literally go back to episode 1, where we talked about why change resistance is so hard. Why do people resist it? You have to understand the why first. Maybe your church has been burned because a pastor came in and changed something. Do your research. Understanding the why helps you make changes better because you're able to mitigate the roadblocks or the landmines that are going to pop up when you make the change. Yeah. The second thing is to look for change influencers. I remember I would regularly, in my time serving churches, I would regularly look for that guy, that gal, who had influence with the group of people that I wanted to have where the change was going to happen. So when you do that, then you have, to use the term, someone on the inside, someone as part of their group who will say, oh, okay, pastor's suggesting this, Bill or Mary agree with it. Okay, I'm going to be more relaxed with the change. If you'll identify the change influencers, I mean, all of us have read the John Maxwell books, and he talks about the guy Claude. The Claude was the influencer. It wasn't necessarily the board member or the official title, but Maxwell learned early on that if he talked to Claude, Claude would make things happen and really grease the skids for him going forward. So, Third one.
Yeah, so we need to help people change their thinking from change is loss to change is gain. And the thing is, people aren't afraid of the change. What they're actually afraid of is loss. Oh, they're afraid of loss of something. So, are they there's just the loss of what they had is what they're actually afraid of. So we need to help them understand that the change isn't a loss. They're not going to lose something. They're actually going to gain by making this change. So let's use a couple examples. Music. When we think of contemporary music versus the traditional music, that people might think, well, I'm losing my tradition, or I'm losing my traditional music as a result. Style. Yeah, I'm losing what I used to do, or how we used to do things. Yeah. And people always say, well, I wish we could do things the way we used to do in the old days. And so with the style changes that happen, methods, all the different, things. Another example would be, changing from a lot of churches over the last decade or two shifted from Sunday school to small group ministry for their discipleship. And so positioning that in a way, well, this isn't a loss, this is actually a gain for our church by doing this. And so you have to figure out how can you position the change in terms of gain instead of loss.
Well, I could tell you, I just want to reinforce that. Pastor, this is huge. If you can really help people see the gain, you're going to see things, your changes happen way better don't just say, well, why are they against what I want to do? They're against it. It feels like it because they are afraid that they're losing something. So don't ignore that.
Sure.
But help turn it to what they're gaining. I'm telling you, I cannot overemphasize how important that third one is.
Yep.
And the fourth one.
Fourth thing is to get some quick wins. It's really helpful as you're wanting to make more and more changes over time is to try to get you some quick wins under your belt. So maybe some low-hanging fruit, some of those things that are going to be easy changes to make that people are going to be able to buy into, and you can help them do that. By the way, Dick mentioned episode 1, but also want to mention episodes 5 and 6, where we talk. It's a kind of a 2-part series on the 9 things that you can do to help people buy into change. And so you want to do some things that are going to help them buy in. And one of the ways to do that is to get some quick wins under your belt. Because once you start getting some wins, people see that, they like that, and they want more wins. Absolutely. And so when you start getting more and more wins, then just kind of wins lead to more wins. And it's just this cycle that can start happening. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So get some quick wins under your belt. So Dick, you want to recap that?
Okay.
For us?
Yeah, let's do that. The 4 things that you need to do to turn a change-resistant church is to identify why change resistance exists, look for change influencers, change thinking from change's loss to change's gain, and then get some quick wins under your belt. When you'll do these things, you'll see the church begin to soften and be ready for more and more change that's going to set you up for greater success to mission.
That's right.
Anything to add to this?
Well, I just want to mention that tomorrow is a very special day.
Big news.
Yeah,
big news. Tell us about it. Oh, you want me to tell about it?
You tell.
Okay,
I'll tell.
I'm going to tell about it. I love what has been produced. Church University has the newest track, the kids ministry track that's going to be available.
Let's be clear, what Church University is.
Okay, Church University is our training tool or a website that has training tools. We've got church board in there. We've got church audio. Now we have KidMin track of training for pastors and church leaders and kids ministry leaders. This thing has got, I think the number, don't hold me to this, I think it's 44 individual videos, discussion guides, templates, downloads that you can just run with, and the timing could not be better. I mean, literally, we're at least at the point of this recording, we're heading into the fall, and if you could get this for your kids ministry leader, whether they're a paid kids pastor or a KidMin volunteer, you want to get them this resource because this is going to be a game changer. Game changer for kids ministry. You're going to see kids ministry go to levels you never imagined possible. I'm beyond excited about it.
Yeah, it's a great way to be able to help them understand how to relate to kids with all the stuff going on in the world, the technology, all the things. How can we as the church be relevant to kids, and for kids ministry not to be boring or something that they drag their feet to, but they actually look forward to. And this course is going to help you. I mean, the whole Church University courses, they're kind of like online education, really, for pastors. And so for kids ministry leaders in this particular case. And so you want to make sure to check that out. Were you going to say something else?
Just releases tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big day, so keep your eye peeled for it. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. Also, be sure, subscribe on YouTube or podcast, and please rate and review. Let us know your feedback on the Church Tips show. We are so thankful to be able to provide that for you and hope that it is helpful to you. So let us know, give us your feedback, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, be blessed. Hey, Jonathan here, real quick before you go. Everything in your ministry rises and falls on your leadership. So investing in your leadership is essential to staying healthy and growing the ministry. And that's why I want to invite you to join us inside the Leaders.Church membership. This online streaming service for pastors gives you access to more than 300 videos plus training material to level up your leadership and improve your ministry skills. If you'd like to do that, I want to invite you to go to Leaders.Church/boost. Again, that's Leaders.Church/boost. Well, thanks again for joining us on the Church Tips podcast. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.